in-house with the Mandii. The Mandii, how you feeling today?
I'm feeling good. How are you doing today?
I'm living, man. We're just both talking about how, both life DMing and certainly Twitch streaming is basically a lot of just buckle up and jump.
Yes,
so I've been
absolutely.
doing that. It's been a day of that, but I'm pumped to have you on. Yeah.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm telling my Discord that you're live now.
Yes. Give them the shout. Give them the holler. Critical to do so. Mandii is a really talented professional DM, content creator, actual play host and streamer. Does a lot of things in the TTRPG space. I forget who connected us. Might have been Dungeon Glitch.
Maybe.
Might have been Dauntless. I really don't know.
It might have been Dauntless.
I mean, it doesn't matter to me, but I'm thankful for them.
I'm not sure. I know too many people. I can't keep track of them all.
1,000%. And
I don't even know how I meet half of them. It's just
yeah, there's kind of like the repetitive absorption within the TTRPG space, right? Where you're like, I've seen them play on this guy's game and her thing and whatever. So yeah, pumped to have you coming through. And, of course, this is between two DMs. I mean, typically I start off that way, but I mean, basically just picking the brains of great DMs, learning how they do what they do, how they approach things, different typical situations that might hit a table. So with that in mind, I always like to crack it open with a casual pun. What's up, Foozka? Bugles up.
Booze.
Absolute ledge. But in general, Mandii, what brought you to tabletop? Was it D&D? Was it something else? Was it Magic the Gathering? Was it an adjacent thing?
Mm-hmm. So little background on small Mandii.
Cool.
The Lord of the Rings were my bedtime stories as a child.
Wow, let's go.
So my love for fantasy started very, very early. But what got me into tabletop games is I had started dating a gentleman. This was many years ago. We ended up just being friends. But he was DMing a Dungeon World game at a local pub, and I joined that group. So we went on one date and we were like, let's just be friends and play D&D together. And then we played D&D together for years. He is a fantastic DM. And Dungeon World is essentially D&D light. A more simplified version of D&D, and functions very much like Dungeons & Dragons. But yeah, very simple, very easy to play. And of course, my first character was a rogue half-elf who was a little treasure goblin. So while they were doing all the fighting, I would sneak on the sidelines and steal all the loot. That was my entire MO the whole game.
That is so good. I feel like it's really critical to were you Superman, right? Were you the rogue? I was the vague edgelord with my first character. I didn't realize she was orphaned.
I was give me all the loot, and if you need help, I'll help you, but you're probably fine, because we had a huge party. There was 11 of us. It was insane.
And it was in person?
Yes, it was in person. We outgrew the pub very quickly and then turned it into weekly potluck dinners at different people's houses every week.
Damn, that is rowdy. What a great introduction.
With 11 people plus the DM.
That is
not all 11 people were at the table every week. There was some people who couldn't make it every week, so it wasn't always all of us. But when it was, whoo boy.
That was
how I got started in TTRPGs.
Okay, I love that. That's such a deep dive and such a big hearty table. Obliterable. Thank you for rolling through. T-Rex up, Bugles up for the new guest. I assume you know the Mandii, aka the legend. I appreciate the support.
AKA the legend.
That's so good. Yeah, a living legend. And I also had never heard of Dungeon World, so it sounds like maybe since it was easier, get in here.
Yeah,
do you stream in Obliterable? I'm curious.
She does not know.
Oh, okay, cool. Well, appreciate the support. Thank you for rolling. Maybe the fact that it was D&D Light made it a little bit easier to have 11 people at the table.
Yes. And oftentimes we would just make combat go very quickly, on purpose, so that we didn't spend forever taking turns and all that stuff. So it was a lot of fun. Way too many people, but it was a lot of fun.
That's hilarious. And did you immediately know that you wanted to DM? Were you kind of sitting there oh man, I want to do this? Or was it something that was more like an opportunity and you seized it, or how did that kind of come to be?
So it took a lot of time playing with, excuse me for a second. Hold on.
No, please.
Do you mind?
Fuzka, I'm with you as well, where you're like 11?
My dog is in the corner being naughty. What are you doing?
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious.
I don't know. Whatever. It is what it is. I would say it took many years of playing with DMs that I both enjoyed and did not enjoy for me to realize I should do this. Like, why am I being such a chicken shit? Like, I should just do this, because I play with these people and I go, I wouldn't do that to my players, or I wouldn't do it this way, or I could do this, better, which is a little bit egotistical when you think about it that way. But it's like, I could do this. I could be great at this. And I started with people at my day job at the time. During Christmas time, the office would be like shut down and they would tell us to bring in board games and whatever we wanted. And I was like, does anybody want to play Dungeons and Dragons?
Yes.
In the conference room down the hall? And they were like, yes. Yeah, it was pretty much like, yes, come to the fold.
Yeah,
and that was my first time DMing, was in person with a bunch of people who had never played DnD before. And I was like, this is my calling. I want to play with new players. I want to teach people how to love Dungeons and Dragons. I want to teach people how to play. Dude, and so that's how I got started. That was my original mission. It's still part of my mission. But yeah, people go, what if I'm not super experienced and I want to be in your game? That's fine. I'll teach you.
Yeah.
You can learn while you're playing. It's great.
Yeah, man.
I'll make it easy for you. It's fine.
No, well, first off, Gervanch, get in here. Bugles up. For the legend. I'm so sorry, Mandii, but my prince from across the sea has just rolled through.
My prince from across the sea.
It's going really well.
One of my players is from across the sea, so what's up?
Let's go. Exactly, right? Let's shout it out for time zones. Like, I love it when people are like, hey, man, I should be asleep, but I decided to swing through. Appreciate that support and love, dog. We are back. I'm back.
It's late over there.
Exactly. But no, maybe that's absolutely hilarious. Yo, goblets and warlocks? I'll take a cup of both. Thank you for the follow and the support. I assume you know the Mandii. We're talking about how she kind of came to be playing tabletop games and what brought her specifically to D&D. That excitement when it's a new player and they're asking questions and they're like, okay.
Oh my God,
but wait,
I love it.
Why is it +5? You know what I mean? Like those moments are so exciting. That's so great. Yep. Half of my players are across the seas. That's why I'm here. Hilarious. Twitch is actually really good at that as a connector. Yeah, I see that from your actual play right now, which is Into the Wilds, right, Mandii?
Yes, it is Dungeons and Dingalings called Beyond the Wilds.
Beyond the Wilds, exactly. Okay.
Yep.
I didn't want to butcher the Dingalings because I was like, did I make that up because I wanted it to be that?
No, it's Dungeons and Dingalings.
Copy that.
Oh man. So that actually started, I was a player in that campaign originally. We had a different dungeon master, and then scheduling and things happened, and so I took over as the DM. And
that's right.
Yeah, the Dingalings was our party name.
Got you.
That was bestowed upon us. We didn't choose it, but then everybody went with it, and my character was very hoity-toity, and she was like, absolutely not.
That's so good. Yeah.
But yeah, we just stuck with it. So yeah, Dungeons and Dingalings.
That is so damn good. I mean, I've never heard of anyone, and thank you so much for the follow, Myriad. Appreciate you guys rolling through. I have never heard of anyone taking over mid-campaign for an actual play. I mean, I know people that kind of share the space like really well and will, rotate on a channel, but that sounds rad. So did you did you retire your character, or did she kind of become an NPC, sort of a sidekick, or?
So she is an NPC, my bard, who is also a courtesan. So I take horny bard to the next level because it's literally her job. She's a sex worker. Sex work is real work. And she became a kind of like the mission giver NPC. So like wouldn't go adventuring with you, but was still part of the story. Cool. And that's kind of how I did it, because after a lot of research and reading and looking up people's opinions, they were like, it's a little weird for the DM to have their own character in the party that's not an NPC that they adopted. So I was like, that makes sense, but it also is in character for my former character, Kiyashara, to not want to adventure anymore. She's too hoity-toity. She's too high society.
They brought Dingalings into it.
They brought Dingalings into it. Adventuring was just not for her, but she still loves the party and supports them very much throughout the campaign. So
copy. That's such a fun way to do it.
Yeah.
Man. Okay, so let's talk about now that you've kind of put on the bootstraps, right? You're now the DM.
Yes.
Even in Into the Wild. And for those of you that have just come through, thank you so much for the support. I'm Carper the DM. I typically on Wednesdays we'll sit down with professional DMs, other DMs in the space, and kind of just chop it up with them on how they run things, how they kind of make decisions pre and mid game. But like, for example, with your upcoming actual play that you're actually like taking casting submissions on.
Yes.
Is that something that you've just started doing recently? Is that something that has popped up out of demand? And I ask that sort of in the shadow of wondering, in general, how you begin approaching like a session 0 and putting a table together.
Okay. So in terms of Miss Lost becoming a thing at all, essentially, I am in a place where I feel I can handle a second regular game now. And this homebrew project sprung up in the middle of me working on a completely different homebrew project that I was going to do, and took over
a lot
everything.
Of inspiration. You were like, this is a great idea. I want to go.
Yeah.
Sick.
Yeah. So I had this very lofty idea. There's a lot of twists and things that I can't talk about, but the idea of the twist was what inspired the entire campaign idea concept that I have for Miss Lost. And so I was working on a different project called Faded Realms, which some people who know me have heard me talk about on other podcasts and things like that. Faded Realms is probably still happening, just much later. That one's my absolute baby brainchild, so I have to perfect that one. But this one is me learning to let go and moving into those kinds of things. So,
man, and I'm tempted to just stop there and do 45 minutes on letting go. And perhaps
it's tough. There's the cliff notes. It's tough. It's hard to do.
It's like, please take me by the hand and show me. No, copy that. And like, and not to like hijack that. This is really well put and obviously important. And I have really felt that as a DM coming from the acting and content creation space that, yeah, exactly. Yo, Goblins and Warlocks, can you please cue the music? No, but that same sense of, understanding that like done is oftentimes so much better than perfect because it exists.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And it hasn't been like stripped away from you with this.
Well, if you have to make it perfect, nobody's ever going to see it.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. 100%.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have 300 lifetimes. But in editing and in that kind of, needing to kind of light things, I just, the theater of the mind and the collaborative nature of DMs, like you're going to have a premise in a situation and minimum 40% of the time, a character will have a great idea and turn it on its head or have a fucking crazy idea and do its own thing. So that kind of flexibility with the change is actually like a skill.
Yes.
So
yes. So yeah, I just basically doubled down on it out of nowhere, and I was like, well, this is turning into a thing. I should just pull the trigger on it and stop writing and just boom, go into it.
Okay.
I'm still finishing up some things, but
copy. I'm sure ideas are still coming in. You're working them in, but like, is it? I'm and again, that's so well put. Do you have a moment of inspiration? Of course, we can't reveal it because part of it was like a massive twist. That's what's part of leaving me tongue-tied right now. I'm like, but what was it? But the idea of, do you see? Is it the end scene that you're picturing? Is it a cool premise that you want to explore? Is it all of those? Like what kind of?
It's
gets
all
you
of
going?
Those things. So there's here's a way that I can put it without any spoilers. And I've had to put a lot of thought into this because I'm like, how am I going to talk to people about Miss Lost if I can't talk about this one thing yet?
Cool.
Because I want it to be a surprise for the players. As well. So this is going to be something that they're not expecting, which is why in the application it says only apply if you want a challenge to your role playing and improv abilities, because I'm gonna drop some fucking bombs on y'all. So
dude, that is hilarious. And Sithi, thank you for the follow. Give into your hate, my friend. But that's a hilarious premise. You're like, need not apply unless you want to get bombed. Like that is...
if you're not ready for a situation like that, well, I mean, if you still want to apply anyway, go right ahead, but it's going to be tough. So the theme that I think suits a lot of it, the word that suits a lot of it is duality.
Cool.
So like different sides of the coin, different light and dark.
Great. Cool.
You know, heads and tails, those kinds of things. Different flip sides of how people live. So that's going to be a lot of, I explore a lot of that in a lot of my work. But it's going to be the central theme for Mistlost.
Damn,
and the secondary theme is nothing is as it seems.
Wow. As in flip over the coin and find out, dear boy.
Yep.
That's fucking rad. Okay. Goblet says, I am the challenges, lol. That's hilarious. Yeah, I mean, I think we're all like sort of questioning. I know Goblet has already applied. I'm curious if Sithy has as well. Fuzka's considering it. I did as well. Consider that as, I mean, what a great way to present it. And I know you can't reveal too much about it, but okay, cool. So you have the idea.
There's plenty of stuff I can talk about.
Yeah.
So.
I'd love to, because, you know, and if you haven't checked out like Mandi's actual plays, at the end of this, we'll plug her actual channel, send you guys over there. It's really, really rad. I mean, your squad for Into the Wilds is super rad, but it's such
yes, they're great.
Yeah, I mean, the chemistry is really fun, and also their PCs are very, like, I love the dang, what was it? The Paladin Barbarian. Like,
yes,
I'd never.
She's a Pally-Barb.
I can't remember her character name, but the I've always like considered that, and it's fun to see it in actuality. I'm like, that's dope. But Mandii keeps a very, I mean, your pacing is tight. You throw a ton at your players. I mean, in combat, outside of combat. I feel like the level of expectation is high. So is that something that's like kind of always been there, or is it now you're like, I'm on my 4th campaign, I got to throw in some loops, you know, like.
So, Call Beyond the Wilds is actually campaign 2 for this group.
Oh, okay. I didn't know.
And a lot of this started with, okay, now you guys are playing with me as a DM. What were you missing before? What do you want to get out of this game? What are you looking for? What did you not get before that you want to have now? What were you getting before that you want to continue to have? Like, what exactly do you want to get out of this? Because we're all committed to doing this. We're all committed to our characters and committed to finishing the story. You know, what do you want? And that's really all it is communicating with your players and asking them what they want out of this, and then giving it to them to the best of your ability that fits into the story.
That's so rad and so important. Yeah, like was that, like, did you like create a Google survey? Did you kind of individually message people, or I'm just kind of curious, like, what that process kind of looked like?
So it's a little bit different for the Dingalings crew because they're all personal friends of mine.
Oh, tight. Okay, great.
Yes. So we were friends before the first campaign. I kind of recruited them to join the first campaign with me as players because I was like, great, you want me to be in a campaign? Cool. I got 3 more people who will be great for this, and I just pulled them all in. And then one of the players, Seth, his wife joined us for campaign 2.
Okay, I'm trying to place. Is Seth the half orc?
He is the half orc barbarian. Yes.
Barbarian. Yes. Cool.
Yep. So there's Grief, the tiefling druid, and then there's Hibram, the Azamar warlock.
Yes.
Vola, the paladin barbarian, and Rusty, the barbarian.
Let's go.
pure barbarian, the ASMR warlock. That's right, Sithy.
Oh my gosh, I'm so glad. It's like, and feel free to raise of hand if present. That's so rad.
Myriad's in chat. She's the ASMR sometimes. That's true.
That's so good. Sometimes depending.
Not just ASMR.
Love it. Yeah. Drop the A. I'll flip it for an S. That's so good. You know what? Hey, they come from heaven for a reason, I guess.
Yeah,
it's situational.
That ass, though.
So in that case, you knew them personally, so it made it a lot easier to kind of essentially session 0, right? Where you're kind of like, hey, we've played, we've had some good times. You know, what were you into? That's, of course, great advice, but like, honestly, bears repeating. Like, communication is the salve.
Yes.
I mean, well over half the time, right?
Yes.
To just kind of ask, be a human.
Even with
about
your
it.
close friends, it helps to check in and know what's going on.
Yeah.
So it's very important to do those things, because, you know, even though we've all become close friends collectively, their only common thread in the beginning was knowing me. Nobody knew each other than me. So I think it's also kind of cool that we all just kind of became like this little close-knit friend group. Because we have a Discord server that they all talk about gaming, and we send each other memes all week between games and all this shit. Like, they're like my family. I love them. I would do anything for them. So, you know, it helps a lot to play with people that you're very close with, because the chemistry just comes naturally from that.
I feel that makes sense. Like, I was going to ask you how you kind of came to assemble this motley crew. And I love how the answer is like, oh, I knew them
lots
all
of ways over the years.
You're like, I assembled them by way of personal relationship, which really is like the best way. Because you kind of catch a feel for like, dang, like, I really enjoyed chopping it up. Like, I love having a reason to hang out. That's exciting to me. You know, like that's stimulating. That's what kind of brings us to the table. That's awesome. So if let's say,
I'm going to be devastated when it's over.
Yeah. Okay. So you guys are on 22. Like, do you have a plan? Like, is it a hard 25, or is there a?
I've joked with them. I was like, yeah, 20 episodes now. We're done. Sorry.
Yeah. You guys are actually in the afterlife right now.
You guys are actually dead right now. You just don't know it.
Welcome to the River Styx. Yes.
I ideally, obviously I can't, you know, even as the DM, I can control everything, but I can't control everything. Like, if your character dies, like, I hope that doesn't happen, but it could happen. That's a very real thing that can happen. I don't want it to happen. I don't relish the idea of killing my players, characters, I should say, not my players.
For sure. Yeah, it's like, has that ever happened?
But ideally, yeah, right. But ideally, I would love to have all of their stories told, and not everybody's stories have been told. So I would really love for them to have that opportunity for each and every character to have their arc, to have their story. Right now, we're actually having mainly 2 character arcs happening at the same time. So Grief is having a lot of stuff happening with her home, and Rusty is having, the whole reason for this campaign is things from Rusty's past are coming back to bite them in the ass, but it turns out to be so much more than that.
And that's and just so I can like line it up. And guys, thank you so much for the chat. We'll get through that. And yo, Valix, love you.
They're just talking shit.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. I want to rattle in with that shit. But yo, Valix up top, boink, bugles for my boy. Was it like? And I love the idea of go with grief as like
go with grief.
Go with grief, my friend. But the
I love that.
Was that what brought the combat last session? Because I missed like episode 20 and maybe 19 as well. But was it?
So we'll give you the cliff notes because it's a long story.
Okay, gotcha.
So the premise of the campaign is this organization. There's different orc tribes, and one of them is called the Obsidian Claw.
Cool.
And they are known like bandits and kidnappers and slavers. Like, they'll just take people off the roads. It's not like they're oppressing a particular like subrace or lineage or anything like that. It's just they take whoever they can get and sell them. Well, it turns out that the Red Wizards of Thay are buying for something, all of the people. And so they have taken over the Obsidian Claw and are now using them for their ends. So they're taking all these people, but people aren't quite sure why this is happening and how widespread it is. And it turns out it's happening all over Faerun.
Got you. Okay.
So where there are wizards, surely there are liches. And so they are learning that the Red Wizards of Thay's leader is a lich.
Okay.
And they are thinking this is the guy that they need to go find.
Got you. Okay. It's like, and you had me at Lich. Breaking news.
Yes. So that massive combat that you came into this past week was massive obsidian gates with dark energy emanating from them have emerged all across Faerun. They were just fighting one of them.
Got you. Okay.
So there's 5 more.
New development that they're just beginning to meet. Okay, that makes sense.
Yep.
Yeah, man, fucking liches is absolutely right.
Fucking liches.
Out of here with that. Valix, I love how he puts that. Killing players? Nah. Driving the Eagle Totem Barbarian and Sensory Overload? Oh, hell yeah.
Ooh. But yeah, fucking liches. That is the new catchphrase of the series.
Good.
Pretty much all the confessionals at the end of session have been fucking liches.
That is so good. Yeah.
So that's been fun.
We need some merch. I definitely would rock a fucking liches tank top, just with like
I would
shake
wear
my
that.
head, just to shake my head.
I really should just fucking liches.
Fucking liches, dude. Always coming back. Always wanting more. Right?
Always wanting more.
Always wanting more than the mortal mind could hope to take.
Little do they know they've already fought one lich, but you know, it's fine.
Really? Dude, that's hilarious. We did, my only lich experience as a player has been in Princes of the Apocalypse, where there's lich, right, that is sort of, I forget their last name, Cara Dune.
Oh, yes.
Right? And I just remember, man, that got me so good. Like, we were already so immersed, but I was like, oh, this guy's sad. Like, this is a sad boy. You know, like, it was very poignant.
It's really funny because in our gap year between campaign 1 and campaign 2, I DM'd Tomb of Annihilation for them, and the end boss is a lich.
Got you. It's like, yo.
So they're like, more liches now! And it's great because Kelly's character, Vola, was in that campaign, and we've made it canon. All the things that happened. Like, originally we were like, this isn't canon, this is just BS, we're just BSing. And by the end of it, we were like, nah, this is canon.
This is real. Yeah.
This is real. And that's why she's a Pally-Barb now, not just a barbarian.
Oh, that's smart, just because she has had that experience. It's like,
she got possessed by her god in the final battle. And
oh, fuck. That's sick. I didn't know that. That's cool. Yeah. What a fun way to justify multi-class. Like, that's super sick.
I basically was like, okay, now you can do this if you want, but you don't have to. You can if you want some magic, because you've been lamenting not having distance attacks. So if you want to multi-class into Paladin, you're welcome to do so. And she chose to do it. So there you go.
Man, with all these fucking liches, a little detect good and evil might not go amiss. You know, that might be a welcome change. That's rowdy. Okay, cool. So, like, if you just in the example of now, like, you're moving towards wrapping up, you know, who knows how long it'll take, but you're trying to, you know, wrap up people's storylines, right, and tell people stories. Yo, Red Sage, get in here! What a prince!
What an absolute lord!
Like, Red Sage literally was part of the reason, probably the motivating reason why I just turned on my push notifications for Discord. My boy,
hey, there you go.
How are you? You rockin'. Appreciate the raid. I literally had that thought where I was like, man, I don't want to leave people lingering in Discord. Like, I had no idea. But I appreciate you guys coming through. We're hanging out with the Mandii, who's essentially runs several really, really fun actual plays, is gearing up for a third.
Gearing up for my second.
Second, okay, I'm so sorry.
Yes.
And we're kind of just talking about that process of taking it from zero to something. And as she nears the end of this current actual play, you're talking about what is, you know, really, really important and fun and also challenging, which is finding that cool resolution character to character, right? Whenever you're talking about that, like, as we sort of sit here now, you know, you've got 6 players. Wait, 7?
No.
6. Okay.
I actually have 4 players. Bones, who you saw last week, was filling in.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, she was our guest. Yeah. So
I struggle with counting.
So I've got 4 players right now.
Of course. Okay. And that's why she was separate from the other 4 that were gridded up. Got it.
Yep. Correct.
I struggle with basic, like, counting of boxes.
Oh God.
So that was
I'm right
tough.
there with
you really threw a huge curveball at me to ask me to count to 6. I'm like, 5? Okay, so the answer is actually 4. Got it.
Yes.
But, like, whenever we're sitting here talking about them, are you picturing 4 kind of like final tableaus? Is it something you session zeroed with them, you know, or has
Not
it kind of
necessarily.
developed? It's kind of come apart through the gameplay.
So they all expressed to me in our session 0. We did kind of an informal hangout and eat pizza, or
Cool.
well, I was eating pizza. I don't know about them because it was virtual.
Yo, I'm gonna have pizza.
I'm gonna have pizza. I'm from Jersey, baby. I gotta have some pizza. But in our session 0, they were like, we want to roleplay, we want to explore, we want to go into our backstories, we want to actually do these things, and those weren't necessarily done very much in the first campaign. And so it was like, all right, baby, let's go. We're gonna make this very story centric. This is gonna be very roleplay centric, and I'm still gonna throw combat at you, but we're gonna do what you want. We're gonna do all the things that you want. So that's just kind of how it is. And the way I imagine it is not necessarily 4 separate tableaus, because their backstories intertwine in very unexpected ways that I did not know when I was a player with them.
Oh, wow.
That I now know as a DM, that I'm just like,
dope.
Okay, I can kill 2 birds with 1 stone. We can have 2 arcs at once. And that's what we're doing right now. And then we're still kind of continuing the Warlock's arc a little bit, upping the angst, as you will, because he is the angstiest character, other than mine, who is no longer a full member of the party. So I have to focus now on this angst.
Exactly.
So
it's like, don't try to out-angst me, damn it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, no, nobody is edgier than Goth Boyfriend. Angstamar, that's right.
Angstamar. Myriad, you are killing me. And Valix, that's a hilarious suggestion. And yes,
Jersey represent. What's up?
Exactly. Jersey's definitely in the house right now. Yo, Sage, exactly. Mandy's first experience, and it sounded like a rowdy one, was playing Dungeon World with essentially...
With 11 people.
Right, but a table of 12 total with the DM, eh?
Yes,
yeah,
yep.
That's it. So, okay, your capacity to handle is significant. That's rowdy. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So, I know what you mean whenever you're looking for those 2-bird situations. You're looking for where the rivers converge, so to speak. Is that...
Yes.
Like... yeah, I mean, it's really beautiful when that comes up, right? You probably have a dozen things that are big pillars of your homebrew, but sometimes it's not till you're like wading through the waters, seeing the ducks of doom as they were, or whatever's coming up.
Ducks of doom, I love it.
That's from the Red Sages campaign, dude. I'll let him tell you about it. But
I got a duck right here for you.
Let's go, dude. If it squeaks, keep it
Inobliterable
silent.
is still she's just a little. It's just a little thing. If Inobliterable is still in chat, I got my ducky.
Oh my gosh, that is
He gave me
cute.
this last time we hung out. Hey, Bo.
That looks like you need to tassel it onto like a sweet, like amber gold chain as a warning.
Oh my god,
that would
that would actually be cool. No, I keep it on my desk and I look up at it and it makes me happy when I'm sitting here.
Man,
so I keep it on my desk.
Need.
It's my little happy token.
That's so rad. Honestly, we need those serotonin hits quick. I've got some, but they're kind of like on my lamp, and I'm afraid I'll pull it down if I get them off. Sage, thank you so much for the sub, man. Truly, you're a prince.
Probably. I was just talking about leaving the duckies around random places earlier.
Yeah, well, that would spread some cheer in Obliterable.
She has like a ton of them, and she just sprinkles them randomly.
That is
in different
so
places.
good. That's a great gift. Man, that's a great gift. That's so good. Okay, well, let me ask you this, Mandii. This is like, because I mean, this has been so freeform, and I know, and for those of us, I mean, I appreciate you guys so much joining. Like, I labeled this part 1 because I have a virtual audition at 3:42 Pacific. So hard out at 3:40, but we're gonna be pushing it to the brim. But normally, like I go through, like but this has been so tangential because you're raising all of these points, and how you run actual plays, I think, is really interesting because a lot of people are, wanting to do them, don't always know how. Is it like whenever you're prepping for it, because you guys play every month?
Nope, we play every week on Fridays.
Every week on Fridays?
Yep.
Okay, cool. It started, okay, cool. I had that wrong. Whenever you're preparing for that throughout the week then, is it, of course, like the session ends, you have an understanding most likely of like where things are headed or what it might do. Are you the type of DM that is rolling for events off table? You know what I mean?
Maybe.
Or you're like, next question, Council.
Sometimes, depending on the situation or depending on what they're doing, I have done that, yes.
Cool.
But it is not something I do all of the time.
Well, sometimes you just
not
know,
every
right?
session.
Sometimes you're like this is what's happening.
If they're traveling overworld and it's like days and days of travel, I will sometimes, to save time, roll for what happens on those days ahead of time.
I like that.
Yeah, like encounters or things that they find, things that they see. So
love that. There's when you hear rolling dice, you just panic. Yes, any good DM, I hope, can elicit that. It's just sort of the dry rattle. It's like, what was that for? But
you'll never know when I'm rolling just to fuck with you either.
The pump fake roll is definitely necessary. I
gotta assert my dominance somehow. I can't pee on them, so I just roll.
Dude, that is so good. You're like, I'll bring you back. I'm eating pizza and I'm peeing. That's what's happening. This is how it's going.
No.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. That just seemed like a funny callback to me, but I regret it. But no, that's absolutely hysterical.
I love it. It's so funny.
No, but maybe like you're absolutely right. Where it's like, because sometimes it is, and then sometimes it's like, no, like I know what would happen, and I really do feel like you do a great job with pacing, which is hard anyways. But like
that's really good to hear, because sometimes I feel like I suck at it.
Well, what I mean, listen, like there's only so much you can do. I mean, like things are happening. Like I just more mean you find a good way to not cut corners, but like round corners. In rolling ahead of time is one of those things. Like I try to, roll for initiative for my enemies, etc. Kind of basic stuff. Are there any more time-saving tips that you have found helpful in actual plays versus like home games, for example?
Time-saving tips. Learn how to improv. That saves me so much time, because I'll tell you right now, those of you sitting at home who do hours and hours of prep, stop it. I mean, do it if you want to do it. If it makes you happy, do it. But if it stresses you out, go learn improv instead.
Mm-hmm.
Go teach yourself improv instead. Go consume media and steal relentlessly from that. That is a time saver.
There you go.
I couldn't put a percentage on it, but most of the campaign is improv.
Most of the campaign is improv. That's awesome. Yep. Dude, yeah. And in improv, I mean, I love. That's like a comedy background. And there's also like, hopefully, because I feel that when people are like, talking to me about, man, I need like at least a couple days before, because then I'm going to come back and prep. And it kind of is like, man, if that is fun, go for it. Because sometimes it is fun for me to be like, zooted on my couch and just being like, oh shit, man, this motherfucker. I'm just like writing this guy's soliloquy. I'm like, I'm gonna drop these bombs on you. But but there's also of course weeks where I'm like, oh wow, I had like a couple things come in and this got flipped and like I have no time. The being comfortable in those situations is in and of it's a skill, and 100% Fusca can be fun. Like, do you still in those moments, do you ever just kind of like shorthand your prep where you're like, this guard freaks out. If they mention this, he's going to respond negatively. Bam, bam, bam. Like 7 lines. Let's go.
I do for social encounters, Like cool. when an NPC comes into play that I haven't thought up on the spot, although even if I do think them up on the spot, I think of at least 3 characteristics that they have personality-wise. 3 is a solid number.
Yeah.
You'll hear me say that
the divine.
A lot.
We'll just go with the divine. Yeah, let's do it.
Precisely. And based on those characteristics that I come up with in the moment, if I have to, or ahead of time, if I do, that is how I inform myself on how they will respond to things that are said, things that are done, how things are handled. I see a puppy.
Yeah, I know. There's Chunky Boy. There he goes.
My Chunky Boy is, he's being good now.
Is he? Don't worry. No one will be worse than
He was doing something earlier. I'm sure I'll find out what the hell happened in a few minutes.
Oh, that's hilarious. Fine. It's like, is he bringing in sausage casings? Like, I really never really know. Yeah, Chonky, he'll be right back. Dude, Marlowe is both like the love of my life and the bane of my existence, which...
oh my God, my dog Wyatt, same way. Yeah. Love of my life, bane of my existence.
100%. I do have...
Wouldn't have it any other way.
Yeah, I know, exactly. Wouldn't change a thing. I have a community challenge right now called Find My Dog, which once we meet it, will just be me going with a remote video plug-in on my OBS to wherever Marlowe is located. And just harassing him. We'll pet him. He'll probably flop over. But
needs to have the belly rubs.
Yeah, he's a chunky boy. That's hilarious. So like with that kind of in mind, with sort of being like, yo, I mean, I try to make it reasonable on myself. Sometimes I have to improv. Sometimes I am rolling for events ahead of time. Like, is it? And completely agree with that comment that players really need to be able to improv as well. That's what really elevates it.
I agree with that. Who said that? Myriad said it.
Yeah,
of course
exactly.
I
Shout out to Myriad. Myriad's hot as a pistol right now. But like, is it just as simple as like you kind of having that sixth sense to be like, ooh, jot that down because that's a new element. Ooh, jot that down. Like that's
Yes. But also, most of it lives in my brain, and then I forget, and I have to watch back the game.
Oh, dude, you have the actual play. Of course. Yeah. No.
Actually, even my home games that I didn't stream, I recorded those.
So did Fuzka. That's dope. And
Yep.
I'm so sorry. It just reminds me. I just want to tell Fuzka and tell you as well. I started doing that with our Zoom sessions, just because I was like, you know what, like I want to go back and listen and see kind of like what the vibe was, because I'm so ADHD and in the moment.
Exactly.
It's like, did this land? Was that cool?
Yep.
You know? And I did a brief 4-shot that was streamed. There was actually like a one-on-one. It's on YouTube. It was really, really fun. But going back and listening to it was incredibly helpful. Which, I mean, I don't know why I act like that's...
Oh, I could have said this better, done this voice a little bit different, or 100%. Made these choices instead, or
clarified
reacted this way instead.
Yeah, it was in fact cool. No, 100%. But it does show me where I'm like, oh man, like, or also that I could back off. That if I come in and I sort of present some drama or present something, that I can just let it hang.
Yep.
And let them fill that negative space. And
I still struggle with that. I still struggle with that because sometimes I'm like, okay, they're quiet. I need to fill it with something. I need to do something. Maybe the NPC comes in, or maybe you just hear birds outside, or I don't know.
No, I know.
So I'm slowly, I think, getting better at being quiet and letting that speak for itself after I say what I need to say.
Dude, Mandii, yes.
But I do go on my tangents of like describing things, and I'm like, do I keep describing it? Do you get it now? Do I keep going? Do I stop? I don't know.
I know.
So it's sometimes it's hard to tell.
No, for sure. And like it's I think important to distinguish between feeling like you're just kind of talking too much, or maybe lore bombing too hard or whatever, versus an awareness that, hey, you know, because it's theater of the mind, we don't necessarily have the benefit of images of our eyesight. You know what I mean? So like you sometimes do need to hit the nail on the head 2 or 3 times, you know? So yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think definitely in combat, you do a great job of like slipping in bits that are either story adjacent, lore adjacent, which is a great way to punch up combat, period, in terms of kind of making it more than just sort of like destroying the monsters, which is still super dope.
The combat you watched last week was actually us being very loosey-goosey with the rules and doing extra things on our turns and stuff like that, because nobody wanted, and I didn't want to do 4 hours of combat. So I was like, okay, we have our initiative. If you guys want to do combo moves, let me know. You guys can do that. You can do this. You want an extra spell? Fuck it. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Because otherwise it would be 2 more sessions of combat, and I needed to respect my guests' time. So I was like,
for sure.
let's just kill these bitches and be done with it this session, and then get back to the fun role play.
And that makes even more sense given that you had kind of, you know, a guest, sort of a one-off. That's rad. Have you ever brought in a guest as a villain?
Not yet.
Wow. Might I humbly suggest that I might play that role? A man that's...
I would love that.
Perhaps a mage, perhaps Longsaddle or someone near Yatar to come in and have ulterior motives and needs. I truly have been pitching everyone.
I love it.
Because all I want to do is show up and
be a villain.
Sort of vaguely from Yorkshire and come... and just truly just yomp. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I want to come in and yomp.
Yeah.
No, but that's awesome. Not yet. That's
we will talk. I love that.
No, holler at me, Mandii. Like, because I literally, I'm gonna be following up on that. I've never. I have so many ideas. I've only once brought in a sort of a guest player that was a villain, but it was so satisfying. Because it was the first time I'd done it in this Zoom. And
it's a PC that you can tell everything to.
Dude, exactly. I was just like, boom, boom, boom. And I was like, go after the cleric.
You know everything.
I want you to talk shit to the Beastmaster. You know what I mean? Like, I want you to do this. Also, like, take Dominate Beast. Just, you know what I mean? Like it can be such a fun way to literally make your job easier as a DM while also massively upping the immersion, because it's like, and obviously you want to like go through, you know, your X's and O's with your players, make sure everybody would be comfortable with that. But it can be really kind of like exciting and almost like scary.
That's for later.
You know, where they kind of come in. Okay, yeah, sick.
Yeah.
But where they can kind of come in and almost scare the party or the table with the uncertainty of this newness this guest kind of coming in. What was the backstory for your tiefling guest? Oh, there's Marmar. There he goes.
So her backstory was that she was, or is, I should say, she's still alive. I almost killed her, but I didn't quite. Is that her husband was taken by the Obsidian Claw, and she was in the Yawning Portal looking for other adventurers to go hunting with her for the Obsidian Claw that took her husband. And so that was this little mini episode arc with Little Bones 309, who I think she's streaming, so she's probably not in chat.
Oh, she was the rogue too. Okay, got it. Cool.
Yeah, so she was a ranger rogue tiefling, and that was a lot of fun, was to have them go out of the city on their own, because we were down, both Kelly and Seth, because they were traveling and doing events and such. And so we had Bones come in, and then had the three of them go on this hunt, and that was the backstory for that. That's
a super fun way. I mean, it's like fun to play with your friends, period.
Yeah.
But that's a cool way to like immerse and like show that, hey man, other people are struggling with the same issue, right? Yep. Like the world is big, everyone is getting touched by this. It's a tough feeling. Okay.
Yes, Bones and I accidentally making the same character backstory is such a vibe. It really is, because you guys are the same person. It's great. Actually, the three of us are kind of the same person, and it gets a little confusing sometimes about who's who.
There's just all this overlap that we just lean into.
We share a brain cell. It's great.
That is so funny. I was in Evil PC too. That is great. No, in some of that, Mandii, you didn't know until you stepped into the DM reins.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's rowdy.
Yep.
That's super cool. Okay, so we'll just address the elephant in the room, which is me being a slave to these day of audition notices, which honestly attempt to steal my peace all the time. But honestly, it didn't kill us from having a great time. And
no, not at all.
One thing that I am going to demand, that sounds so aggressive, that I'm going to strongly suggest, it, is we gotta do the rapid fire.
Ooh, let's go.
Which, I mean, if you don't know, Mandii, it's pretty high stakes. It's pretty intense.
Okay.
It's, as we say in Italian, molto grave. It is an opportunity for us to basically throw a bunch of like binary questions, red, blue, up, down. They're all like Dungeons and Dragons adjacent. And those of you at home, please feel free to hop in. I want to hear your answers in chat. So, with that in mind, are you ready?
I'm ready.
So the first one is, of course, a hard deviation from binary because it's one of 4 choices. But in character creation, do you use standard array, point buy, 46 drop lowest, or 3d6?
46 drop lowest.
Let's go. That for me is like the most nostalgic. And I understand people view it as being like a little bit easy, but I'm trying to roll up those 6s, baby boy. Okay, keep it moving.
Throw in a calculus question to throw her off. No, don't you dare.
Yo, guys,
I
anything beyond 8th grade pre-algebra is banned.
Yeah,
Check the chat rules. Check the chat rules. Okay, giants or dragons?
Dragons.
Wow, let's go. Dungeons or dragons?
Dungeons.
Let's go. I'm shook. Okay, sick. Red dragon or blue dragon?
Blue dragon.
Copper or gold? Dragon.
Gold.
Let's fucking go. Gold is so intense and wild. It's like, who is this god? Okay. I still got to show a little bit of love to my giants, my gigantes. Frost or storm giant?
Storm giant. 100%.
Wow. Okay.
Huge.
Totally, right? The control weather, like shit can pop
my
off.
God.
Okay, blue and copper. I'm seeing that below. I'm going to roll through that. If you had to pick one for the rest of your life, spellcaster or melee character?
Oh, shit. Spellcaster.
Wow.
Gotta go with the spellcaster.
Okay, we will.
That was tough for me.
I could tell, and I like it. We'll give some more, iterations of that. D100 or D12?
D100.
Oh my God, let's go. What's your favorite use of a D100?
I have shit tons of random tables that I've written for my campaign.
You mean just like events tables and shit?
I have D100 tables upon D100 tables upon D100 tables. Like, I've probably got like 1,000 things worth of.
Mandii has inceptioned a D100 table. It's like a D8 billion. Dude, that is
it's ridiculous.
That's great. Well, we're not going to do the math on that. We already addressed that.
No.
Okay, great axe or great sword?
Great axe.
Great axe. Love it. Okay,
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
that's a D12. Get that chunky boy. Elf or
My
or
barbarian is like great axe. It has to be the great
dwarf? Let's
axe.
go. Respect. Respect. And hey, if you take the dual wielder, 2 great axes.
Yeah.
Let's go. The elf or dwarf?
Elf.
Elf. Okay, I like that. I too lean elf. I don't know what it is. Gnomes
I love them.
or halflings?
Oh, this is so tough.
I know. It was designed to be painful.
Gnomes.
No.
I'm gonna say gnomes.
I truly thought you were gonna go, no, I'm not gonna answer it. I literally thought that's what was about to come. Okay. Tabaxi or tiefling?
It has to be tiefling. That's
Wow,
an
but that's
unfair
a tough
question.
one, right? You can only have
I'm
one of the
neurodivergent,
sexiest
I'm
races.
bisexual.
Yeah.
I have to pick a tiefling.
You're like half tabaxi, half tiefling. No, respect.
If you're queer, you have to pick tiefling.
Dude, for
There
sure.
is no other answer.
Dude, tiefling is definitely like the canvas for like processing some representation. And
I do
maybe
have horns on my headphones. Too.
yeah, no, I see it. It looks sick as fuck. That's what I meant by the whole blue vibe. Like, just works with your headphones with the setup.
I'm a slut for purple. What can I say? My keyboard is even
No,
purple.
get it.
I mean,
You
come
mean
on.
you're a slut for royalty? I fuck with it.
Yes, that's right.
Bugles up. No, that's so good. Okay, so with that in mind, and especially given that I said these were binaries, this is really the only trick question. If you only had the opportunity to pick one, turtle or turtle?
Huh?
And heads up, we stand turtles on this show, Mandii, so choose wisely.
Turtle or turtle?
Yes.
Turtle?
Okay, you nailed it. Perfect. Whew, that was tough. Whew.
My brain just imploded a little bit.
No, I know,
wasn't
believe me.
expecting that.
I literally have in parentheses.
No, turtles are great. I love them.
I have adjust this question. Yeah, I refuse to. Every time I'm just like, no, fuck it, just ask it. Okay, let's move on to the actual magic of this spellcaster. Produce flame or firebolt?
Firebolt.
Firebolt. Okay, classic. Little more range, little more damage. I love it.
Yep.
Guidance or mage hand?
Mage hand.
Mage hand. I love it.
Yeah.
Give me some classic like character hijinks that you've mage hand with.
Oh no! The first one that comes to mind is naughty.
Go on. Hey, we're fine. I'm fine.
Like harassing NPCs, just like, boop.
Just a little
Just
bit,
like
just a
poke 'em.
casual, just manage a little tickle.
Just like boop, poke them and get them to be like. That's especially helpful if you're an arcane trickster rogue.
Oh, dude. And you're trying to
use mage
pickpocket?
hand. No, to use mage hand to distract people.
Right,
Like-
exactly. Totally.
Like
and
not
then
like
pickpocket.
poke them on the shoulder and they're like, what? And then you go. So good.
Love it.
That's my shit. That's
Love
my
it.
shit right there.
I was a
Pickpocketing with it, unlocking traps with it, stuff like that.
creating some distance. I always forget
Yep.
about that one. Yo, Brutal, get in here. I love that. Am I the bad guy for antagonizing our loose lawyer? You know what? You might be. We'll adjust that. But we're in the middle of the rapid fire, so we got to keep the pace rolling. Okay, I love that you took Mage Hand because they're really, the uses are limitless. Okay, I have found this.
Roleplay uses, mechanics uses,
Dude,
it's endless possibilities.
in that-
Anything you can do with a hand, you can do with Mage Hand.
Which is like a perfect
For the most
cantrip to be able to use it like in and out. But yo, Brutal, appreciate you rolling through. I am going to get to that question because it sounds very interesting to me. This to me has become kind of the like dividing question. So maybe it will be, maybe it won't, but I want to know.
Okay.
Mending or spare the dying?
Oh,
Let it hang.
spare the dying.
Wow. Okay. Even though you run a firm-handed table, still there's grace. Still Mandii chooses spare the dying.
Still there's grace.
Dude, respect. I too like spare the dying. I mean, just because it's like, for me, I want to be able to repair magical objects. For some reason, that always drives me nuts. Okay.
Yeah.
Fireball or lightning bolt?
Lightning bolt.
Let's go. Mass suggestion or charm monster?
Mass suggestion.
Okay, cool. I like suggestion too. It's just like, yo, let's just break this game open real quick. Yeah. Goblins go lightning bolt. Respect. The range on lightning bolt is just insane. Hunter's mark or hex?
Hex.
Fucking love it.
Absolutely hex.
Hex is such a like, it's just
So
gritty
good.
and it's like
Just-
thematically so aggressive. It's like you are cursed loosely.
You're cursed loosely, just a little bit, as a treat
Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna bless you with some flavor of darkness.
of darkness.
if someone attempts to sleight of hand one of your players, Do you give them a perception check or use their passive perception?
Depends on the situation.
Totally. Okay, totally. But if pressed, what's more common in your games?
I am more inclined to give them a perception check.
It feels bad to rob from players.
Yes.
Right, sometimes.
I don't usually do it. Except in Tomb of Annihilation, don't come for me.
Yo, hey, I'm not saying. I respect that.
They lost all their money, and you know what? They did it to themselves.
It is in the player's handbook as being based off of passive perception. So you have every right. You have every right. Okay, wizard or sorcerer?
Oh, neither of them. If I have to choose,
You
I guess
do.
wizard.
Okay, got it. Just because it's more classic, or just because sorcerers get it too easy?
I've not played a sorcerer,
okay,
but
copy.
I have played a wizard, so that's what my
respect. Hey, loyalty, love it. Cleric or warlock? Cleric, respect. Clerics are like underrated.
I love clerics. I love playing a cleric.
Like, I've never played one, and I did not know that there was like 20 subclasses, and I need to get up to speed.
There's so many. There's so many.
Fighter or paladin?
That's a tough one. I'm gonna say fighter.
Wow.
Hate on me if you want.
You are going with the classics. No, that's
Hate on me if you want. Paladins are dope. Paladins are dope, but people hate on fighters so much for no fucking reason.
Yeah, people need to chill and step back.
I have played some seriously badass fighters in my day. Fighters all the way.
No, 1,000% agree. 1,000% agree. Okay. This is the second to last question, and it's probably one of my favorites because this is a hard one for me. Druid or ranger?
Oh, druid. 100%.
Okay, good.
Druid.
I'm glad you went druid because druid was my first character. I love rangers though because they're so classic. But God, I love druids, man. What's your favorite subclass?
My favorite subclass of druid would be. Oh man, it's tough for me because I haven't played them all. But I'm gonna say Circle of the Moon druid. Even though my druid was not Circle of the Moon, I love Circle of the Moon.
Moon's dope.
She was Circle of the Forest, and it was only because it was thematic to a very heavily themed mini campaign. And that was the only reason why I picked it. I would have picked Moon otherwise. So Circle of the Moon is
Moon's my best. Shit. I'm with Brubel. Circle of Spores is
great.
Is tied with Circle of Stars Circle of Shepherd is also so good. But
yes, they're just all great. Druids are great.
Yeah.
Best class.
I love it. We're like, all right, yeah, no. Our part 2 will open with us just riffing about druids. But we're not done with the rapid fire, guys. Everybody calm down because there's one more question. And it is a big one. Yes or no? Should cats have dark vision?
Yes.
Yes. You've heard it here. It has been spoken and agreed to. Like, what's going on, dude? Have you never been around a cat?
They can see in the fucking
Have
dark.
you ever seen any trope involving a cat?
Honestly, humans can see very well in the dark, so why regular non-variant humans don't have some level of dark vision?
Give us 30 feet.
Beyond
Give me 30 feet. Give your boy 30 damn feet.
Is better than nothing. Like, come on.
Yeah. No, completely agree.
I don't know about y'all. Maybe it's because I'm secretly the queen of darkness, but I can see the dark very well. So
you're like, yo, peep the horns. Oh man, I knew one secret would be shared. Oh, oops. Mandii. Dude, you've been such a peach. Wait a minute, hold up. I gotta go back. We gotta decide whether or not Brubel is being the bad guy. I appreciate you coming through and asking this question. We were in the middle of the rapid fire. Am I the bad guy for antagonizing our rules lawyer in-game after he's repeatedly pulled things out of his butt to make my experience hell? Okay, I didn't finish. My gut reaction is hell yeah. But what do we think?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna say, yeah, it does kind of make you the bad guy. Like, just don't allow the rules lawyer at your table.
That's hilarious.
I don't allow rules lawyers at my table.
Yeah, Brubel, are you a DM in this situation, or are you a player?
If you're the DM, make him go away.
Yeah, and I mean, it's more like
and if you're a player, talk to your DM. Like, that's
totally like the pull things out of his butt. Is, I mean, I assume metaphorical, right? But even in the situation of him being correct is, can like slow up the game. And if it's happening repeatedly, that's probably not going to be that fun. So yeah, I'm with Mandii on that. I think it depends how well you know the person. if you think you could talk to them out of game and be like, hey man, this is really a drag and it's kind of like, I don't know, can we talk about it, etc. The rules lawyer has been an ass for multiple sessions because I play a Grungspore druid. Okay, he's coming after your druid? Hell no. Hell no. Okay, now we're about to put on for you, Brutal. But believe my character is inherently broken because of the base climb speed they get, and it came to a head when I got a decanter of endless water. Dude, I'm screenshotting that because that is such a hilarious line. It came to a head whenever I got my decanter of endless water. It was too much. It was the straw. Talk to him out of game. And
DM rolling is final, end of story. Totally. That's right.
That's why it's rule 0, right? And that's like how it needs to be for it to be copacetic and for it to have a vibe. Brutal, I'm sorry that happened. And,
yeah, that sucks.
And if you missed earlier, Mandii was dropping a ton of bombs, to be honest. She specializes in that. But just raise the issue of just communication and how important it is, how that's like critical, how it can also take different forms relative on how well you know the person. But some form of that is going to be key and it's going to solve a lot of problems.
Yeah, if it's really bad, you should probably talk to your DM about it and say, I'm not having fun anymore because this person is making it not fun. And maybe ask the other players, are you still having fun while this person does this thing? And if nobody else is having fun because of this one person, you all need to talk to your DM about it.
Yeah.
The DM is not a mind reader.
Yeah.
And maybe the DM isn't okay with it either, but doesn't want to break up the group. Like, you all need to communicate. Use your words. Let's all be adults.
And then start a revolt. Yeah, Scythie nailed it.
And then start a revolt, and then set everything on fire and spit on the table.
Oh, God. Okay, dude, I messed up just not giving us way more time.
Communication is key.
Usually these Wednesday interviews go 2 hours, and we really get to tuck in. And
we'll have to have a part 2.
I know, we're going to 1,000%. Maybe right before you start
I would love
Mistland,
that.
right?
Yeah, Mistlost, yes.
Mistlost, okay. That's why I keep hesitating is because the A and the O. Mandii, before we hop off, how do we support you? How do we find you? What's the best way to make sure we can do that?
Feel free to follow me on Twitch. Follow me on Twitter. My name is the same literally everywhere. Just Google me. It's very easy. And I put a link in the call chat. I don't know if I can post links in your chat.
Oh, so please do.
I sent it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
so if you like the sound of Mistlost and you are interested in applying, the application process is open until December 7th. I will review every single application.
Yes.
And I realize I'm setting myself up for a lot of work because we've already got 60 applications as of today and it's only been a week.
Man.
So if I hit 100, I might close it early, and we're heading in that direction very quickly. But do not let that number discourage you. It has discouraged some people. Please don't let that happen, because I will personally be reviewing every single applicant. You are all going to get an equal shot and looked at. So
that is rad. Mandii, thank you for opening up the gates like that. Like, what an opportunity.
Of course.
Like, what a sick opportunity. I feel like you will probably get to 80 by the end of today, minimum. So definitely, if you guys are feeling that, hop in there. It is an amazing opportunity. Mandii runs amazing games. Dude, yeah. Mandii, thank you so much for taking the time. Again, I'm about to go.
Thanks for having me.
It's
super
fun.
You gotta go.
No, but I more just mean like, I'm just so glad we did it. You've been rad.
Thank you.
Guys, support her and follow out. I will be hopping back on to Operation Hogtie on Friday, where I'm a voiceover artist. I'm an actor. I live in Los Angeles. I voiced a character in Red Dead Redemption and am essentially playing through it, trying to find my NPC so that I can go like biblical on his ass. Like I'm literally, it's going to be like war crimes up in there. Yeah, exactly. But in, hopefully a healthy, cathartic way. Now, I do like to end all of my D&D streams by raiding another D&D streamer. So we're going to raid D20 TV. Looks like they're running an actual play. If you can, please slide through, give them some love. It's just like super uplifting and it makes people's day, even if it's just for a minute. But everybody that came through, all the new friends, all kind of Mandi's crew. Inobliterable, Fuzka, my G, Scythie coming through. Thank you so much, Brutal as well, for coming through and just kind of chatting with us. And Goblets, Myriad. You guys were all absolutely hysterical. But anything else, Mandii, before we get out of here?
Nope, I think I'm good. Best of luck with your audition.
Dude,
we'll talk soon.
Thank you. We will. So we are raiding in just about 5 seconds, and after that, we'll get out of here. But as always, guys, love yourself, love each other, take care,
Bye.
and we are out.